Former White House trade advisor Peter Navarro revealed in his new memoir that he and Steve Bannon coordinated an effort with Republican lawmakers to stop the certification of Joe Biden's election win, which spun into the violent January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Here's a look at the Daily Beast reporter Jose Pagliari on MSNBC talking about his tell-all interview with Navarro.
These are two sides of the same coin, right? I mean, this House Select Committee that's investigating the events of January 6th aren't just looking at the mob that attacked the Capitol. They're also looking at this attempt to rip apart the fabric of our republic using the legislative branch. And what we've got here is Peter Navarro saying, look, me and Steve Bannon, we had nothing to do with the violence. In fact, it didn't work in our favor because it stopped us from doing what we really wanted to do, which was stop the certification of President Biden's win, right? But here's the thing. The way to think about this is there was clearly an attempted coup, right, with that attack on the Capitol, but that's the hard coup. Some have called this other effort the soft coup. And what we have here is a former active White House official saying that while he was in the administration, was actually using his power there to put this into play, which I think is absolutely fascinating.
So, Jose, how influential was he? How close was he to Donald Trump as a key figure, in fact, in trying to overturn this election?
I think that has yet to be determined, and it's one of the questions that this January 6th committee might want to dive into, because in his book, and while talking to me, he made clear that his role at the White House during the final weeks of the Trump administration was in documenting what they claim to be election irregularities, right, which, as we all know, did not exist on a widespread scale, but this is something that they were trying to push. Now, how close he was to the president is unclear, but when I asked him whether the president was on board, he was emphatic about saying, well, absolutely. He was absolutely on board with this. You can see it in his speech and in his actions.
I'm curious, in your reporting, you talk about that Navarro bragged about 100 congressmen. I think that we forget the senators who voted to overturn the election. We remember Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, but there was also Cindy Hyde-Smith. There was also the new senator from Kansas and Tuberville, the football coach who poses as a United States senator from Alabama. And all of these congressmen, do we have a list? Is this available anywhere? Is this something that we can begin to show more light around the people who were in power, who wanted to seize power?
Okay, so that's a great question. I don't have that list. And when I asked Mr. Navarro to talk to me about who he spoke with, he seemed reticent to do so. I think at that point he might have been realizing, oh, no, I may have said too much. But, the book and in his conversation with me, he details how he got text messages from Steve Bannon. He woke up to messages from people who were on board with this plan, and he was in communication with them that morning before a morning run around the National Mall. And so, look, it's right there. If the committee investigators want to look into this, I mean, the guy's saying he's got communications, and as far as we know, he hasn't been subpoenaed yet or asked to turn over documents. That very well might change after this reporting.
Although the bipartisan House committee investigating the violence on January 6th has demanded testimony and records from dozens of Trump allies and rally organizers believed to be involved in the attack on the nation's democracy, Navarro said he hasn't heard from them yet, according to the Daily Beast. And while he has text messages, phone calls, and memos that could show how closely an active White House official was involved in the effort to keep Trump in power, he says investigators won't find anything that shows the Green Bay sweep plan involved violence. Instead, Navarro said the investigative committee would find that the mob's attack on the U.S. Capitol building actually foiled their plans because it incentivized Pence and other Republicans to follow through with certification. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to visit us at rawstory.com. And if you'd like to see more of the Raw Report, please like and subscribe and join others who like their news raw too.